More than any other year in my lifetime, and perhaps in history, the Hanukkah story, the message of Hanukkah, has been revisited. What happened was in ancient Judea, they called Israel in those days, 2,200 years ago, they called it Judea. It was a sovereign country, but the ones that ruled the world were the Greeks. And the Greeks had different provinces where they controlled different parts of the world. It was type of a globalization. And they got together with the Syrians, so they had the Syrian-Greek hegemony. Israel fell underneath that hegemony. And they said like this, enough of this nationalism. They told the Jewish nation, no more nationalism. You're now part of a universal order coming out of Greece. We're going to have one culture. You're not going to have any distinct culture. No more nationalism, no more sovereignty, no more distinctiveness. Many of the Jews gave in. They didn't want to fight. And they had all types of excuses. Well, maybe transnationalism is good. Maybe our identity is not so important. Oh, who cares about sovereignty? We'll be protected by someone even stronger than us, the Syrian Greeks. But finally, there was a family called the Maccabees. They rose up and said, no, we're not going to relinquish our heritage, the distinctiveness, our sovereignty. We're not embarrassed by our nation, our nationalism. And they fought against odds that were greater than what we are today fighting against, let's say, the Trans Nationalists or the globalists or the universalists or the deep state. They fought. The problem they had was not simply the enemy without, but the enemy within. There were elites then who were bureaucrats, some even in the temple, some even that were priests. And these elites decided to partner not with their countrymen, but with the universalists, the globalists, the Syrian Greeks, because they loved the glitter, the power, the money, the romance. They felt that they were above and they were just better than the common people. And so they had to fight an enemy from without, but they had to fight sabotage and betrayal from an enemy, an elite, a bureaucratic elite from within who were very powerful. They finally prevailed, the Maccabees. They went right to the temple, which was the foremost institution in that country, which the elites had taken over. The ruling class had actually taken over the symbolic institution of ancient Judea, the temple. They got rid of them, and they cleaned it out, and they lit a menorah, a candelabra, hoping that it would last for a day, and it lasted 8 days. So they knew that their efforts had been blessed by God. That was a miracle. The amount of oil that should have lasted 1 day lasted 8 days. So of course, we are living through the same ideas. There are people, a ruling elite within our country, that are collaborating with globalists, transnationalists, in order to denude America of its distinctiveness, its sovereignty, and they make fun of nationalism. Nationalism is a good thing when your nation is Israel or your nation is America. That's a good nationalism because we stand for something wonderful called the Judeo-Christian ethos. So it's very relevant for today. They had fewer people, the Maccabees, than we have, and we have more power. So if they can do it, I think we can do it.